Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Sunday, everyone. You guys already know what this is. This is my review slash analysis for Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. This is season 4 that we are in, and this is episode 8. We just came back off a break. You guys, please check out my character analysis video. If this episode 8, which is called Street Struck, is the name of the episode, um, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty good. It tied up some loose ends. It brought us forward a little bit. We were wondering what they were going to do in 3 episodes to make season 4 whole, to make season 4 make sense. I mean, there was a lot of audacity given by Sasha Penn in season 4. It was a lot of audacity, okay? Bring the chutzpah, okay? The cojones it took to bring Unique back, huh? A lot of audacity. So this episode needs to come to like a barreling, screeching, explosive pow, 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 big explosion, big explosion, big explosion, car wreck. Car goes off the mountain and crashes down below it. It need to be big, okay? And so I think this episode sort of prepared us for this. It also proves my theory that they shoot a lot of different scenes in a lot of different ways, right? Because depending on, I don't know, polls, I'm sure he would be foolish not to. Sasha Penn watches some of these big YouTubers and their reviews and that type of thing. And I'm sure he makes his decision from there. The viewership, I'm sure he makes his decisions from there. What people are saying online, and then I think he puts the episode together. The scene with Juke in this episode with Juke and Kanan talking at Lamont. Um, it was obvious. To me, it was obvious the way that was shot, with her talking just exclusively on this instead of this pull back kind of way where you see them both talking, so on and so forth. It was just the way it was shot. I was like, it looks like they had Juke acted her part and they had him act his part. And it was just weird. It was kind of one of those things where, have you ever seen like twins, one person playing twins in movies, and they can't really put them together per se, so they sort of flip back and forth. It looks like they're talking, but they're not. That's what that scene was giving. I liked it, but let's talk about it. We're gonna go by character, not by scene by scene. I don't think that's necessary. Everybody's watched it. You guys know exactly what happened in detail. So I just want to do a recap by our characters, right? Okay, let's talk about um Rock, right? Um Rock has Marvin go down. The episode opens with with Marvin basically over at Kwan's, and he is tearing the place up. Like, this is like season one, Marvin and Rock behavior, right? He's got the place torn apart, right? And we're not really sure what's going on. And the way it's shot, it feels more like a flashback. And so we're not sure. Even Quan was giving us nostalgia. That hair and that look, the way they had him lit, I was just like, is this a flashback? Is this a dream? Is this Quan when he first got to 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 New York. Like, what is? It was weird. It was very dark lit, except for Quan. He's on his knees, hands tied behind his back. All of his men are tied up and beat up. I mean, Marvin's got a whole crew with him. I mean, a whole full on crew. We'd never see Marvin with a crew. We'd never see Marvin with a crew. We never see Rock with a crew. I just don't understand how you got these many ninjas, Rock, but you ain't got nobody down there at Terry's brother place. Why you ain't got nobody down there driving with Terry? I mean, with your at your supply house. Like, you got this many boys. You got this many boys, and okay. So eventually, he shoots up Quan's men. Everything is torn apart, brutalized. There's a safe. He wants the safe code. Now at this point, Marvin got his mouth covered. I can tell it's Marvin. As many times as Quan has talked to Marvin and Rock, maybe because most of the time Marvin is eating snacks. I don't know. He just, is it a stereotype like we all look alike, sound alike? I don't know. But why he don't know this is Marvin, I don't know. Eventually, he wants to keep living. Look at all the death and destruction. They can't let you live, sir. They can't let you live. You shouldn't have never gave that save code up because they wasn't gonna let you live no way. But a person can hope. Finally, he gets the safe combination. It's the simplest combination on earth, right? Marvin goes in, it's ton of money. He gets the money. He opens another little smaller safe, and there's diamonds in there. They get diamonds too, right? And in the excitement, he pulls his mask down. Now, the minute he pulls his mask down and you see his face, you know for sure you're not going to live, Quan. And Quan says, "Aren't you Rock's brother?" Right? What? What are you talking about? I have no idea who you are, sir. I ain't seen nothing. I just was struck completely blind. You know what I mean? Like, what is we? I don't. What are we talking about here, people? Okay, so and then of course immediately Marvin, textbook Marvin puts one in the head. And Marvin doesn't just walk off. He don't just put one in your head and walk off. No, you getting another two to three to the body. You getting another two or three to the body. This is signature Marvin behavior, right? So he goes and he tells Rock, and they have this conversation about it. They go and meet up with Akbar. I'm calling him Akbar. I don't know what the man name is, but he's the new supplier for Rock. And he says, "Hey, we can have your product to you in 1 week." Rock is happy. She's gotten rid of Quan, which in her mind cripples Unique. It does. And two, she getting her product. So what is we doing here, right? Um, and she is on cloud nine. She is on cloud nine. She's feeling good. She gives Marvin his next assignment. She goes around the car. She's feeling good. Like, this is all gonna work out. This is all gonna be great. Now, technically, Rock should be circling the wagons, especially with Unique out here on a tear. But we are barreling towards something significant. So we're not gonna pick at it. When Rock goes around the car from talking to Marvin outside of meet with Agbar, and she was like, "We back, baby, we back, we back." And Marvin is standing there, and he is just like, "Yeah." It felt like another one of those scenes where every time we see Marvin, I feel like in these moments with Rock, um, sometimes with Lou, when he first got out with Lou, it just feels like the last time we're seeing Marvin. It always feels like a goodbye to me. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that moment, right? Please put that down below. Because is it just me? We see later, she's with Rocks with Juke, and they folding up Mama Joyce's uh, clothes, putting her things away, clearing the house out, that type of thing. Her and Juke. I told y'all in my analysis, Rock does not have any friends. Juke is it. Juke is her only female friend and or counterpart. She does ask about Kanan. She does ask about if Juke is keeping an eye out for Kanan. And Juke, because what Kanan has told her, and we're gonna talk about it, she questions Rock. She questions Rock. She asks Rock how Mama Joyce died. What are you talking about? She had stage 4 cancer all over her body. All over her body. Remember she fell and y'all took her to the hospital, Juke? It was a weird question. Um, and I think it was pertaining to the fact that Kanan thinks his mom had something to do with fame, and Juke just does not believe that that is so. And so I just don't know how did Mama Joyce. I mean, maybe it was just like the introduction of conversation, but Rock act kind of weird and suspicious about it. I would too. I would too, I guess. I don't know, but if I had talked myself into unaliving my mother, no matter the circumstances, the situation, it's not something I would ever talk about again. How I mention it is how I mention it. Well, she was very ill. She was very ill. But the way she did it felt suspicious. And then the subsequent conversation about how is Kanan, does he know who unalive fame? It was obvious that they were trying to point us in a particular direction, right? Through the dialogue, trying to point us in a particular direction, right? Like, because it's one thing for Kanan not to trust Rock, but for Juke not to trust Rock too, um, it was weird. It was weird. So they had that conversation. Again, all of these things I think are shot in a way where they can be put together and the story can change and evolve at the drop of a dime without reshooting. That's what I think. I think they have 3 or 4 different scenarios of how they want a season to end, and they shoot according to those different scenarios. And I do think that they probably build other scenarios, like the unique situation where they have an ending scene that sort of preps you for the next season, and then they start building all over again. But you guys let me know what you think. What do you guys think? Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about, oh, Crystal. Crystal comes to see Rock, and it's just weird. It is a weird situation. I just don't understand. Crystal came to see Rock. She's on her way out of town because it's a lot going on. Again, I'm not sure why Rock not circling the wagons. Everybody really should be at Rock's house or somewhere hid up, but they all over the city. They all over the street. But Crystal has been ordered to get out of town. And does she do that right off? No, she doesn't. She goes immediately to see Rock. And the conversation went absolutely nowhere. Now, Crystal did say, hey, I need you to look out for Kanan. It's a lot going on, but she didn't tell her why. She did not tell her why at all, even though she had had a detailed conversation with Kanan, and she explained to Kanan that she did not think that Rock had anything to do with Fame, that she saw Rock at Fame's memorial. She could tell Rock loved Fame, and no. Because they want to point us in the direction of Kanan is gonna unalive his own mama Rock. And they've shown us from season 1 all the way to now that at the end of the day, no matter how much hatred, no matter how much deceit and venom that Kanan has for his mom, they ultimately always look out for each other. Period. I don't care how much you boil it over. I mean, Kanan was kidnapped. Rock was shot at season 3. All of these things, and at the end of the day, they was working together. That just lets you know there's a certain vein of loyalty between the two of them that can't be severed. And so I just don't believe it. I'm prepared to be wrong, but okay. Crystal does not say, hey, Kanan thinks that you unalive Fame, but she alludes to it, and she kind of schools Rock a little bit about being Kanan's mama and thinking you right and you can't control everybody And she was like, yeah, those are like famous last words. No pun intended, right? And then she goes on to get on the bus, and Rock is just sitting there contemplating. I'm like, Rock, you smarter than this, girl. You smarter than this. But again, this is how it's written. So that's Rock, man. We're gonna talk about Kanan and Juke. Kanan and Juke down at Lamont's or the pizza spot, one of them places, and they sitting there talking. And Juke is adamant about the fact that she don't think Rock had nothing to do with fame. She was like, I just don't believe it. And he was like, really? She was like, you know, she loved fame. Like she, this is Juke. And this is the first time we see like season one, season two Juke, that sensitive Juke, that Juke that was with Nicole, that type of thing. Like she loves Aunt Rock, right? And so she was like, well, he was like, what about D Wiz? Did she love D Wiz too? Huh? She also loved D Wiz, didn't she? Huh? Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. He is just like, my mama can't do no right. My mama ain't ish. My mama is garbage. If my mama say up, I'm gonna say down. Like, why even consult anybody, Kanan? If you can't be talked out of it, if you can't be reasoned with about rock, why even go to anybody and give your theory? Just do what you're gonna do, Kanan. Do what you're gonna do. Uh-huh. Okay, all right. But he does seem to have a measure of respect. Now he gonna go over. He also looking for O-Cee. Okay. Him and Jude talk about the O-Cee situation. And she was like, well, I'll help you look. And he was like, no, I need to go over and talk to his mama. She said, I'll go. It'll be better if a girl go. And so that's what she does. She gets up and she goes over and she goes to O-Cee's mama house, knocks on the door, and his older brother get there. Now, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, but mostly the 80s, girls knew you never go inside. You never, ever, ever go inside. I mean, really, you shouldn't even be up on the porch like that, really. Like once you ring that doorbell and someone go to open it, I was always taught step down back on the sidewalk, right? Because you could be snatched in a minute. If you go past somebody's house and they got a bunch of dudes sitting out front, what you gonna do is you gonna say, "Hey, it's la 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 there," and if they're like, no, "Yeah, they inside," you be like, "Okay, can you ask them to come outside?" If they can't come outside, no, you ain't going in. You ain't going in, and you ain't positioning yourself to be snatched in. But we already know that Juke got a hard on right now. She is looking to take it to anybody that want to get it, right? Like she ain't just walking up to somebody and trying to mollywop them. But if you want some, you can have it. You can get all of this. You can get every piece of it, right? Okay, so the dude was like, "Come on inside. Let me get that information for you." Yeah, I think I know. And then the way he looking at her, she probably know. She put her back to him and all of that, but because she got her penis with her, she got a trigger her trigger peenie. Trigger peenie. That's a penis with a trigger. Anyway, so of course the guy immediately was like, "You his girlfriend? What did you?" Because O-Cee is like 3'9", 3'2", and she was like, "We just friends." And so the guy tries to go to SA her, and Juke mollywops him. Juke busts him across the face and pull her jitty gat. Her. I got to think of a name for it because Juke is really walking around with this thing like it's the eggplant. Okay, she pulls her eggplant, and she got it. She got it. Now her hand ain't on the trigger, but she got it. All right. And he is just like, oh no, oh no. She was like, you just don't listen. You knuckleheads just don't listen. You didn't have to get Molly robbed, right? I didn't have to black your eye and bust you in your face. I was like, well, Juke, you doing good, girl. You doing good. Cause me being scared, I would have gave him the Marvin plan. One to the body and three to the I mean, one to the head and three to the body. Just my adrenaline. Juke is calm as can be. They're setting Juke up as the hitter. As the hitter. And when you see this scene, you realize this is why Kanan went to talk to Juke in the original power because he wanted Juke to help him do some hitting. Yeah, he needed muscle, and Juke's the muscle, right? Okay, so she goes back and relays all this to Kanan, and it was one of our better Juke moments. Well, we see finally see get to see O-Cee. O-Cee is down at Unique's and he is begging, which is funny because after this scene, Unique then goes person to person begging himself. Okay, O-Cee is down there and first he's with the main guy, Unique's main man, right hand man. And um he is just like, I where is Unique? I need to talk to Unique. And all these dudes around and they all just everybody's towering over him. I just don't understand. Is he just not smart? I don't understand why he would hang out there. When they say he not there, why don't he just go and lay low outside of the building until he see Unique pull up? I just don't understand why he stays in this energy where nobody respects him. So you can almost just really tell what's about to happen to O-Cee because the energy in the room, everybody, the way it's shot, everybody is looking down on him. He looks extra small in this scene. Unique finally comes in and he does the gnat, what I call the gnat, where you're just annoying to the point where it is apparent that you want to be unalived. And this is what he does. Um, Unique finds out about Quan in this moment. He finds out that he just lost his supplier, and that alone should have sent O-Cee to the door immediately. Like, where's your restroom? But no, he is still trying to talk to Unique. I need money. I got to get out. Kanan's gonna find out. Kanan's gonna know. Unique is more dangerous than Kanan. You should know that by now. Obviously, Kanan is of no threat. I don't care how they tried to shoot Kanan in this scene. Even when he eventually finds out about O-Cee, he goes to the door and he's got a gun. No, 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 not at all. They're trying to give us this strong Kanan, this formidable Kanan, but we never see it. Anyway, he got to get out of town because Kanan knows that it was them. How do you know? Unique says that Kanan knows. Who would tell Kanan? And he was like, I could just tell. He's looking for me on the streets and bop, 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 bop. I can't even go home. And Unique is like, sit down somewhere, let me think. And O-Cee stands back a little bit, and Unique gets all this information about Quan, and he's trying to figure out what he's gonna do, and it is just a high fevered pitch. And then O-Cee says again, I got to get my money. I got to get out of town. And so Unique is like, you know what? I'm gonna hide you. I'm gonna hide you when nobody. I'm gonna send you somewhere real special where you ain't got to worry about nothing and nobody ever again. And he puts one in his head. It is a powerful scene. That final shot of O-Cee's face with the entrance and the eyes open. Whoo! That was a good shot. That was a good shot in terms of how Sasha Penn shot that scene. That was good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I thought it was entertaining. Okay, just like that, O-Cee is gone. We knew that he would be, but unfortunately, it's not Kanan that takes out someone. Kanan, outside of the bad crack, Kanan's got the least amount of bodies out of everybody. Well, I think Juke got the least amount, but you know what I'm saying. Like, Juke done beat up more people than Kanan. We've never seen Kanan beat nobody up. Like, anyway, it should have been Kanan, but it was Unique that got rid of O-Cee. Okay, we see where Kanan goes to see General Mills, Snaps and Pops, and they walking in the park and he wanna know if their connection down at the police department can can tell them a little bit about who from the street recommended that Fame be unalived, right? And they're like, well, who do you think did it? And he is just like, I don't know. That's why I want y'all. Again, this is another moment where he could have said, I think my mother did it. Now you trying to get everybody to agree with you on this, but you don't say nothing that snaps and pops about it. You know why? Because you have an inherent loyalty to your mother, to your mother. Yeah, you have an inherent loyalty to Rock. You know not to put Rock name out there. You know not to put Rock name out there until you sure. Which I'm gonna get a Kanan character credit for. Because a lot of times in these shows, especially in the Power franchise, it's half cock, half cock, half cock. So shout out to Kanan for at least keeping his mouth closed about his mother. We find out a little bit later that I think we actually found out in this scene that it was actually Snaps and Pops that had Fame unalive. Later on, they go talk to their cop, the cops that's on their payroll, and they were like, you wasn't supposed to make it messy. We had to unalive him. And I was just like, we didn't even really have to revisit. We don't I just think the Fame situation was handled poorly. I'm just gonna say that. I think the Fame situation was handled poorly. Um, Literally, I don't know if something went on with Sasha Penn and the Power people and the guy that played Fame. I don't know, but when we came back to season 4, it's like you're dead to us. You're dead to us. The way we found his body, you're dead to us, right? There was never any coming back for the Fame character for whatever reason. Um, and the way that it was done, it just required for us to just forget about it and move on. But they're using the Fame unaliving as a way to wrap up some of the characters um, in this half of this of raising Kanan, right? I've already said we're moving away from the Thomases. I've said that. And I think that's what we're going to see in this season, the great pull away from the whole Thomas situation, because they've had more weight in the Raising Kanan series than the actual Kanan character. All right. Snaps and pops don't really serve per se a point. I mean, we've had characters come at the top of a season and be gone at the end. Ronnie, Cartier, um, Juliana came back for several, but Snaps and Pops been around too long. They've been around too long, day drinking and talking crazy, right? It's no reason. It's no reason whatsoever for us to still be dealing with them. So this is how we're gonna get rid of the Snaps and Pops character. Um okay. So they tell the cop guys, you guys gotta go and you guys gotta fix this, get this fixed and find out what Kanan knows and who he thinks did bop 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 bop. It's irrelevant who he thinks and what he knows. Like, if you still playing these games, either you're a heavy hitter or you're not a heavy hitter, right? At this point, you should be trying to undo Kanan. You should be, I mean, playing these games when you supposed to be heavy hitters, like everybody got to approach you with hat in hand and show you respect and all of that, but you playing these schemes like, child, either you run the streets or you don't. Um, They send the cops to go and follow Kanan, and eventually, in following Kanan, they end up snatching Crystal. She gets on the bus after she goes to see Rock, and they go get her off the bus and tell her they want to question her. And we don't get to see it until next episode, but it's gonna be bad for Crystal, right? Remember they tortured Fang, right? Okay, so let's talk about Marvin. Fun fact: Marvin and Kanan are the only two in this episode that don't mention Mama Joyce. Lou talks with Imani about his mom and not the ability not to really be able to talk about it, articulate it with her. And obviously, Juke and Rock talk about Mama Joyce when they were putting the clothes up. And it's supposed to be sort of this nostalgic moment. But she's just died, so that is odd. But they both got a lot going on. Um, we see where Marvin talks to Early, and he finds out that Early is the one that unalived the made man. That's close to Stefano, and he finds out that Early and this guy named Darnell, I think I got the name right, um, Darnell did it, and he and Marvin is upset because Darnell can't be trusted. Darnell's the one that did a bid for talking too much about a job, a robbery job. So Marvin goes immediately and talks to Rock about the situation. He lets her know. Now, I love this for Marvin because that's all it takes, really, even with Kanan and his mom, is a little communication, right? Let's just keep talking about what's going on. And Rock is upset, but she ain't season one upset. She's not cruel and heartless to him like she was in season one. She is visibly upset and she wants him to fix it. When he says Early, this is what I did. I had Early set up as a bookie to replace the bookie that I got rid of Stefano's, and I'm making a little bit money on the side. He done went and unalived the made man with Darnell, and then she's like, Darnell, the one that talked too much and got himself locked up. Like, you best to fix this, Marvin. You messing this up. You keep messing stuff up. Like it. Like I said, Marvin makes a bad situation worse all the time, right? He's a bull in a china shop. And so she basically says as much. And she is pissed off. And she was just like, I can't even look at you right now. And she storms out. Again, a very different Rock from season one, right? So um uh he makes a decision what he gotta do. He gotta do what he gotta do. Later on, when Early and Darnell and a bunch of other people sitting around the table playing poker, Darnell goes out back to pee. Marvin walks up on him and tells him loose lips sink ships, and he gives him signature move, one to the head, several to the body, right? Signature Marvin move. All right. Okay. Um, so he also goes to see Stefano, and Stefano is questioning him about the made man that was found in the river. And Marvin knows he has to play it cool. He has to play it cool. Again, one of those scenes that lets us know that Marvin is not long for this episode, for this series. I just think that character being unalive is going to have the greatest impact on all the other characters in the show, on the show. So, and Stefano's like, hey, do you know anything about such and such and such? And Marvin's like, I don't know nothing about it. It ain't me. He's like, I'm gonna give that guy cement shoes when I find out who did this to this person. I'm gonna give him cement shoes. And so Marvin is just like, yep, I hope it don't fit me. I was like, ugh. Let's, okay, let's talk about Unique. After Unique unalives O-Cee, he then goes to see Russo, right? Because he wants to go and hit all rock spots. She's the one that took out Quan. He's sure of it. Nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows for sure who actually did it. Everybody's saying it was a robbery. When Stefano asked Marvin about it, he says, I heard it was a robbery, right? Okay, so um He goes to see Russo because his right hand man, who came from Russo's camp, tells him, "You cannot go and take out these restaurants and do all of this and go to war with Rock just off the ripperty until you talk to Russo because Jersey don't want you to do that." So he goes down to see Russo. Russo gives him zero respect. Okay, now he's officially the O-Cee character. He's unalived O-Cee, but now he becomes the O-Cee character, right? Because he going from person to person, and Russo just want his money. Just get my money. You gonna have to make it happen. You know, lost your connect. If that's for you to figure out, don't come back over here thinking you gonna blow up my spot behind this mess. He leaves there, he goes and he talks to Snaps and Pops. And they give him ultimate disrespect, just like he did O-Cee, sunning him just like he did O-Cee. He begging, let's get in a coalition together. Let's align ourselves so we can take down Rock and then take over these streets and make this money. And Snaps and Pops is like, okay, we seen you more since you been dead than we ever did when you was alive. Okay, which is Freudian, I guess, a hint, a clue that we the unique is not long for this world. Okay, so um again, he's the O-Cee. Um, the lady, I don't know if she snaps or pops, I don't know, but she basically hits hits unique over the snout hard, hard, and lets him know, hey, you don't rush us. You don't tell us what to do. We tell you, okay? Gather your things and get out. Basically in her own little way. And so he just has to eat it. Okay, you can think about it and goes on about his business. Just like that, Unique has become O-Cee. He going from pillar to post begging, trying to get this money up. You know what I'm saying? You had such grandiose ideas. All the money you did take and steal and use, you look good, but your plan is falling all apart. Hey, 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 let's talk about Lou. Lou is so sassy this episode, isn't it? We get to see a little Lou glutes. We get to see a little Lou booty, right? It was very enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I mean, he's looking extra sexy this season. Extra, extra sexy, right? We see where he's just gotten done with Amani. That's where we get our Lou glutes. And we see where Amani wants a relationship so bad, and she was like, "We need to talk." It just feels like she's a snitch. I don't know, but I be thinking a lot of people are the ops. Anyway, so um, she was like, "You haven't talked about your mother. You haven't said anything about your mother. Your mother just died." And he was like, "I don't even know my own feelings about it. I don't even know if I want to talk about it or how to say or how I don't have the words, so on and so forth. But as soon as I feel like talking, you're gonna be the one I talk to." And she was just like, "Okay, well, I just want you to know I want to be your girlfriend, your number one. And you could tell me any and all your dirty and darkest secrets. And I know you be moonlighting. How you know he be moonlighting, girl? Silly." Later on, we see where Brillo gets approached by Kenyatta and his mans in them, and they want to go back to Lowell's, but to Lowell's original house, and they want Brillo to help them. And Brillo was like, obviously the man is gonna put his money away and we can't reapproach right now. Like, he's suspicious. And they were like, "Oh no, Ninja, you doing this." So he goes and talks to Lou and he tells Lou everything. "I did this, that, and the third, and I need you to help me fix it," right? Just you just suck. This guy is weakness at its finest. This character serves really no purpose except to bring Lou back into this lifestyle. That's it. That's all that happens. we've had little to no music from this man, right? Lou decides, okay, I'm gonna go down and talk to this Kenyatta guy. They kind of know each other around the streets. When he goes and talks to Kenyatta, Kenyatta is just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And if I did know, it's none of your business. You need to mind your business. You ain't even really out here like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like you a has been. You used to be somebody to be threatened by. And Lou, typical this the new me fashion is just like, okay, friend. And he goes on out. The dude comes from the back. He heard the whole conversation and he is just like, he ain't even when the last time you seen Lou do anything? Ain't nobody threatened by Lou. Lou's soft, right? He's a cake eater. You know what I'm saying? He jelly bag. We gonna handle this. And so they follow Berilla and Lou back to the studio, and they sit and wait on them to come out. Berilla come out, and when he comes out, he's just standing there like he waiting on Lou to come on out, and they gonna hit them both. But Lou double back around and comes on the passenger side of the car that Kenyatta is driving. And, he was like, catch you slipping, suckers. He shoots the guy in the passenger seat, boom, gone. Shoots Kenyatta. Kenyatta gets out of the car and falls on the ground. And 50 Cent is narrating in the background because this is the ending scene about just as much as Lou hated the game, in this moment he's really, really excited because it's like I'm back itches. Back in this muggy buggy. At least until episode 10, Lou. But basically, the theory is that Lou, as much as he hated the life, secretly he enjoys it, and it's just like putting on a good pair of old shoes. They fit perfectly. You know what I'm saying? A good suit, an old suit. It fits perfectly. It's cut in all the right places. You know what I'm saying? And he gives Kenyatta a couple of more to the body, baby, and he looks good doing it. He looks good doing it. But that's the episode, you guys. You tell me what you think. Put it down below. Listen, until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Ah, holla.